Hi, this one is going to be started on our knees, kneeling. So, yeah, if that's okay for your knees, come rest on your knees. If not, you could be a couple of blocks under your hips to keep you up a little bit higher is better for your knees, or seated with your knees bent is fine and legs out in front. Um, but we'll start by sitting nice and tall, tummy drawn in, ribs drawn back, shoulders down and back, same as we do everywhere. And just take a couple of breaths here, allowing your gaze to drop or your eyes to close, keeping that nice focus. So focus on the breath, how that feels coming in and out through the nose, and allowing your chest to expand so it's coming deeper than just the top of the throat. Allowing that full breath in and full breath out. And as you breathe out, it's a slight contraction of the ribs. Almost imagine this wrapping and pulling in the center, and it just encourages the air out. And then we're going to add some simple movements in for our shoulders. This one's going to be all about opening up the spine a little bit. So reaching the arms out and back. Chest lifts slightly. And as you exhale, we're going to reach forward and round the back, tucking the chin in. Inhale, pulling the elbows back, rolling the shoulders down the back a little bit more. Expand through the front of the body. And exhale, round in the back, maybe a little bit more with each movement. Reaching forward, chin tucks in. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. Tuck in the chin. And then inhale. Big inhale, reaching the arms back and out. Lift the gaze, lift the chest. Exhale and release. And we're going to add in movement now, coming up onto our knees. So inhale, sweeping the arms forward and up. Big reach up through the front of the body. Exhale, and we're circling the shoulders back. One more like this. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round the arms and sitting back. Okay, taking a twist. So reaching out behind with one arm and twist to the side. Maybe you're going to reach the opposite arm up and over, giving a little side stretch at the same time. So we're not holding the breath, we're just moving with the breath, if that makes sense. And release. Coming into the other side, so taking that twist first, so you're twisting round and then lean back slightly so you get the fingertips to the mat. Inhale, sweeping the opposite arm up. Find that side stretch at the same time. And release it down. Okay, coming forward into a child's pose. Reaching the arms forward, press into the palms, fingers are spread, and drop the head down. So it doesn't matter how low you come into your child's pose, allow your back to be round here. So some people like to keep this one moving, have a little wiggle, that's all good. And taking it off to one side, finding our side stretch. Maybe want to place one hand on top of the other, find a little bit more length in the side of the body. And the other way. So this is quite a nice way to get the body moving, but in a gentle way. And release. Okay, so from here we're going to come up onto our tabletop and continue with a little bit of movement here. Inhale, extend through the front of the body. Exhale, round the back, tummy and ribs drawn in. One more coming forward. Inhale, shoulders sliding down the back. Exhale, round the back into our cat shape. And then from here, bend the elbows, trying to keep them in next to the ribs as you come forward and lower all the way down onto the belly. Coming into a Sphinx, so coming elbows underneath the shoulders, maybe need a little wiggle to get there, shoulders rolling down the back again, so kind of want to keep them away from the ears, don't want to be crouching down like this, you want to find that length in the back of the neck. If this feels too intense on your lower back, you're moving your elbows further forward, pressing into the hands, pressing down into the forearms and the elbows, and pressing at the top of the feet engages the legs, gets all that involved as well. And allow yourself to soften and come forward and down. Rest the forehead onto the hands. So it's Up to you, taking that same back bend again with the Sphinx, or take the hands out next to your shoulders, and as you press in, we're going to come up a little and start to have a little wiggle as you come up. So this is a bit of a back bend, a bit of cobra with a little twist. So this is all just about getting a little bit of extra movement into our back and lower down. So coming into a traditional position for our cobra, bringing the hands next to the ribs, squeezing the elbows towards each other, tummy's drawn in, lifting the chest. And then once you get to a point that you can't lift anymore, maybe press into the hands, lift a little higher, keep pushing into the feet. And release it down. From here, coming back onto the knees, tuck the toes. We're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So find this length first. So almost like you're crouching as far back from your hands as you can get, and then lift your hips and find that placement for your feet. There's a hip width apart. Thinking about pedaling into one foot and then the other. It's quite nice here. Or coming up onto the tiptoes on one side and then the other is really nice for your ankles, or good for your ankles. So we're going to walk to the front of the mat. So rather than stepping all the way, I like you to walk forward as much as you can. You may become halfway, and that's plenty. Allow the knees to soften, and you're going to hang into a loose forward fold. So whatever that is for you, you might be leaning on your knees, that's good too. Giving yourself a little support. But find length in the back of the neck. Maybe rock the head no, nod the head yes. Releasing a little bit of the muscles in the neck. It's quite nice here as well to give your shoulders a shake. Just don't fall over. Bend into the knees a bit more, pressing into the feet. Rise up, big reach up. Press the palms and release. And allow yourself to settle down. Okay, bring the feet wide along the side of your mat. Okay, so we're looking for that nice wide stance. So we're not in a tight forward fold, but we're also not too far apart. Inhale, chest lifts, shoulders rolling down the back. We're coming into a wide leg forward fold. So toes are pointing forward or slightly pigeon-toed. And as you soften at the knees, you're bringing your chest forward and down from the hips. So we're hinging at the hips, keeping a nice flat back. And you can release your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, maybe pushing down into the hands and straightening the legs a little bit more. They don't have to come to straight. We're just looking for length for you. And then as you exhale, allow yourself to soften and fold. There'll be a roundness in your back now as you hang forward and down. On your next inhale, lift the chest again. And this time we're going to take a little twist. So keeping one hand to the mat, take the opposite hand up to the hip. We're just looking to that side, so it's not much of a twist, just a little bit. Starting to turn the shoulders maybe. And release it down and soften. And taking that little bit of twist to the other side. So keeping one hand down, rolling the shoulder back a little bit, turn to the side. Creates a little bit more length in the side of the body. Okay, walking the hands to one side. Maybe you're upright and you're taking both hands onto one leg above the knee, or you're holding on to the outside of the ankle with the opposite hand. And then it's entirely up to you. You can fold a little deeper or hold the pose where you are. Inhale, lift the chest. Come into the other side. So again, if you're higher, you're maybe the hand above the knee. Watch that you're not leaning too much to that side, or you're holding lower down, taking the opposite hand to the outside of the leg. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold a little deeper if that's your practice. Inhale. Coming back to the center, soften at the knees, hands to the waist, and come all the way up to stand, release there. Okay, turn your right leg out. Whoop, nearly fell over. From the hip, keeping both legs straight to begin. Spread the arms. We're going to come into our extended side angle, so bend in the right knee and keep reaching over that right side. Take the hand to above the knee or the forearm. Top arms reaching over. Those of you familiar with a hand on the mat, go for that. Just think about keeping this right side lifted up away from the right thigh. Inhale, sweeping it all the way back up, turning the right leg in, hands to the waist, turn the left out. So fine, try not to turn the hips forward. Want to keep this sideways as much as possible, and watch as you lunge into the left side that the knee's not caving into the center, reaching through the arms. Reach over that left side, hand to the knee, forearm down, top arm reaching over. If it feels more comfortable for your shoulders, especially if there's anything going on there, you can take the hand to the hip. Inhale, standing all the way back up, turning the foot in, and we're going to return to the front of the mat. We're going to take a sun salutation. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back, and lower down. Knees to the mat, shoulders rolling back, elbows in the side of the body. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale to downward facing. Inhale, stepping forward with the right foot. You're going to keep on the toes of the left. Inhale, stand tall. Hands reaching up as much as possible. Shoulders still open, pressing the palms towards each other, but they're not coming together. We're going to find our side angle again. So turning open to the side of the room. So you've got your warrior two stance to begin. Reach right over the right leg, and maybe forearm comes down to the knee, or the hand comes to the floor on the outside of the knee, on the outside of the foot. Pressing the knee into the shoulder. Top arm can be reaching around your back, or you're reaching forward past the body, reaching for the front of the room. And release. Take the hand to the mat, and we're stepping back to plank. We're not, we're stepping back to downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, we're going to come through that little sequence again. So this time we're taking the left foot forward. Find your high lunge, pressing down into the feet, rise up. Maybe you're keeping the hands on the hips, shoulder blades rolling down the back. Inhale, reaching the arms up, reach through your fingertips, keep pressing firmly down, steady stance, steady breath. On your next exhale, turn to the side of the room, but you've still got this deep lunge on the left side, knees coming forward. Watch again that it's not caving in. You're pushing firmly down into the feet as you reach over this left side, finding your extended side angle on the left. So again, that could be resting on the arm on the leg or on the floor, top arm around the back, or again reaching forward. But think about the length, so don't just reach it forward and leave it floppy. I want to make energy through that arm. Inhale. This time we're rising up. Rise to stand, turn to the front of the mat, and step forward. Inhale, lift, press the palms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step or jump back. And lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Coming forward again, same as we did the last time. Right foot coming forward between the hands. Adjust if you need to once you're standing. Inhale, rise up to your high lunge. This time we're taking the arms around the back, interlace the fingers. Think about the hips coming forward as you lift the chest. And then as you exhale, we're going to release, and we're taking the left hand to the floor this time. So this is the opposite from the other side, and we're taking our twist. Stepping it back, placing the hand down, step to plank. This time we're taking the plank and then lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So high lunge to the twist again. So taking your left foot forward this time. Inhale, find that steady stance, first pushing down into the feet, rise up into your high lunge. Taking it into the crescent with the back bend, so it's bringing the hands around the back. Maybe you're resting them on the hips is better for you. And think about chest lifting, shoulders rolling down the back. If it's okay for your balance, you can look up. Good luck with that one. Steady breath, steady mind. And release the hands, taking the right hand to the mat on the fingertips. Or if that's not your practice, you could be taking the twist higher or using a block, and find your twist on this left side. Again, with the arms, it could be round the back, or like this. And release. We're going to come back and lower down again, so both hands to the mat, stepping back with the left leg, and lower. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So from downward facing, we're going to come to sit this time. So bring our shoulders forward a little bit, cross, coming onto the knees, cross at the ankles, and sit down. So this time legs out in front. And I'm going to take a little twist. So keeping the left leg out in front, bring your right leg up and close to the body. So the knees bent, the foot's pushing into the floor, and we're sitting tall. So try not to round back. There'll be a point that you can maybe feel your sit bones. That might mean you have to move the feet further forward for you. When you're ready, you're going to wrap your left arm around the front of the shin and take your twist to the right. So depending on how comfortable you are in twists, it's all different for everybody. Focus on your breath here, because that'll tell you where you are. You could maybe lean back away from the leg, bring the leg across the front of the torso, and bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. And then you're pushing the knee back into the elbow, elbow into the knee. And it creates a little bit more twist, a little bit more torque in your twist. And release. Coming into the other side. So find that sit tall in between. It's almost like a little reset as we take ourselves into this left side. So the left foot is pushing down. There we go. Shoulders rolling down the back, sit tall. The long leg, it's not just loosey-goosey. We're pushing down into the heel. It's very active as well, and we're right up onto the sit bones if you can. Wrap your right arm around your left shin and find your twist. So again, you're trying not to slump into this. You want to sit as tall as possible as you bring yourself into your twist. Again, maybe you're taking it with the elbow on the outside. You may be there already. And release. The last little movement I want to add in today before we call it quits. Push the heels together, soles of the feet together, rolling the shoulders down the back, and I'm holding on to my ankles. Could be holding on to the knees, you're holding on to the feet. And depending on how open or how actively you can open your legs, depends on where they're going to be. And none of that is, unusual. Wherever you are is quite normal. Okay, so don't allow that little judgment chatter in your head. But what I would like you to do once you've been there for a moment is maybe actively use the muscles of your own legs to try and open a bit further. I'm not on about pushing, but we're being active in our seat. Again, neck's nice and long, crown of the head reaching up. For those of you very familiar with this pose, you could add in a forward fold if that was something that you wanted to do. And I'm going to get you to lie down. So we're going to keep the soles of the feet together. Carefully roll hands to the mat to help yourself down, coming onto the elbows, and allow yourself to settle. quite nicely into the mat. So be aware of how this feels in your lower back. It does create more of a curve in your lower back with the legs out. So see how that is for you. If it's too much, you're just going to bring your feet wide and allow that little rock. In fact, we'll all do that as we come up. But if you're comfortable here, shoulders rolling underneath, your back a little bit more, hands, palms facing up, and allow yourself to settle into that reclined position. You can rock your head side to side here, still thinking about your breath, being nice and slow and steady. And if you're not there already, we're going to bring the knees up, bring the feet wide, press the feet into the mat, and allow a little rock side to side. So dipping one knee to the center, the other knee coming out to the side. This little rock into your hips is a really good way to get some loose movement in there. It helps release your muscles around the hips, the bottom, the lower back, and into the front of the hip joint as well. Pulling knees into the chest, give yourself a little hug. Again, you can keep making circles here. It's quite nice now to make circles because the circles give you a little massage in your lower back, which can always be good. And then from here, we're going to rock to sit. So carefully coming up wherever you are, never force it. Yeah, just be gentle with yourself. It's okay to develop big moves and work on strength and deepen your flexibility, but yeah, also be good to yourself. So give yourself time to rest. Go on and do a little bit more movement if you feel ready for it, or crack on with your day. I'll speak to you later. Bye.